Good morning. How are you today, Sari?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Oh,
sorry
I-
about the mix up in time. I thought I checked it the other day that it was going to be 5 a.m., but it's okay.
it's okay. Okay.
Oh,
OMG, you look so pretty.
just woke up, but thank you. Thank
Hmm.
you.
Where are you now exactly?
I'm actually like in our study room at the house. So, yeah, working from home.
Okay. Let's start the presentations. But before the
Okay.
presentations begin, I want to give one pantun. Jalan-jalan ke kota Jaktim, di Jaktim ketemu Anwar. My name is Waro Sufi Al-Karim, your handsome moderator in this webinar. So, let me inform you how the presentation will be going on. First, Sari will be invited to present the material. After that, there will be question and answer session. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this webinar. Today's webinar is about Dare Yourself and Rich Career in Global Market. Our speakers today is Sari Mengvold as Coordinator Training and Development at Rexel Netherlands, background in legal administration, been in HR more than 15 years. Sari as speaker will give a presentation about what students can do themselves from profile, online presence to networking, what to look for when researching career abroad, what does the employer stand for, and then how to approach them, do's and don'ts. Now, allow me to welcome the speaker to deliver her presentation. Sari Mengvold, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's always nice to participate in these things, and I'm very honored to be asked to do the presentation today. Um, my name is Sari. I have Indonesian roots. My mom is from Indonesia. My dad is from the Netherlands. Um, so I'm kind of jealous that somebody online here is in Bali, my hometown. Uh,
It's me, it's me.
So enjoy the weather there. First of all, I'm very curious how the situation is right now. How is everybody dealing with COVID and Corona and everything? So how's the situation now? And I'm really interested in who is there in the audience. Is everybody from Indonesia? Let me know in the chat. Where are you calling in from? Let me know. Type it in the chat right now. Where in Indonesia? Let's put it that way. Bali, yes. Yogyakarta, nice. Jakarta, Central Jakarta.
Mostly from Citayam and Cikarang.
Tangerang, oh, nice. Very nice. Okay, keep typing. I need to off one alarm real quick. One sec. So it should be early in the morning there too, right? Really nice. Indramayu. Very nice. Thank you all for joining. Um, as uh, as was mentioned, I have a background in HR. Um, I've been working in HR in the HR field for about 15 years in different areas, mostly administration, also part of it in recruitment, talent development, and right now I specialize in learning and development and other projects relating to employee engagement. Um, I work for Rexel Netherlands. which is part of a global Rexel. They have a global headquarters in Paris, in France, and we are a wholesale distributor in engineering, industrial solutions, and renewable energy. So all these fancy terms. But what it means is that we deliver all the products and materials and solutions for companies that actually build, for example, houses. So everything that has to do with lights, cables, and everything that makes up a house and such, and office buildings and those things. That's what you have to imagine about um, um, the type of products and materials we deliver. So it's a really big business and it's a really exciting business because we're doing very well, even though COVID is going on right now. People are still doing business when it comes to building houses and such. So that means that my colleagues make up about 50% is in sales, about a quarter does supporting staff. So departments like HR, finance, IT, and then the other quarter would be the people that work at the distribution warehouse, the ones that actually receive the goods, label them, put them away, and then also pack the goods and then ship them off. So that's kind of the business I'm in right now. I'm also a bit of a geek in the sense that I have um, skills in marketing and IT, so that's very helpful in my career and being creative and being more than just a regular HR person at the department. So I really enjoy that. And right now, I'm working on several programs for the company, including educating our workers when it comes to skills, sales skills. Um, we're working on management skills. So we have a whole management program set up now because we see that, being a good manager and means you also have to have understanding of your own leadership style and how do you project that onto your team to create a winning team. So those are the things I'm working on right now. But what we're going to talk about today is how to dare yourself to actually reach out to global employers. So I know there are very bright students on the call right now. And I believe in you. I have a lot of contact with students. So I wanted to really motivate you and help you with some tips and pointers when it comes to what you can do and how you can, follow your global aspirations in your future career. So I'd like to know, like, what are you studying right now? Could you type that in the chat? Like, what is the direction of studies you're in right now? Is it law? Is it maybe HR? I don't know. Um, what are you studying right now? Let me see it in the chat. Communication, nice. Agribusiness, very nice. Who else? Type of law, nice. A lot of people in communication, good. Information systems, nice. Really good. So you already have like an idea of what direction you're going to, even though there are some studies that really open up a lot of industries to you. It's good to you know understand the type of employers that you're looking for. Even though you're still a student and you might not have much work experience, I'm going to help you build that. So what can you do as a student to actually reach out to global companies and find a way to work for global companies somewhere in the world. First of all, what I'd like to touch on is building your profile. Yeah, because building a profile is about having an online presence, right? An online presence, what do I mean by that? Make sure that your online profile, specifically LinkedIn, if you don't already have LinkedIn, make sure you make one because that's your networking profile and you can refer anyone to your profile. Even though you're still a student, it's good to already build that online. Um, Try to actively share um, articles of your interests. Try to share things that you're working on, projects that you're participating in, topics that you're researching. All these things can be actively shared on there. So you have this online presence and start building like an online portfolio of the things that interest you. In that way, whenever people are looking for you, one, you'll be easily found on LinkedIn, and secondly, they can see what is keeping you busy, right? Also, try to participate in discussions. There are many groups on LinkedIn that you can join and that you can participate in the discussions that are going on there. Help other people in the comments, react to other people, and try to engage in conversation there. Um, Also, very important to note is include your contact details because, you know, in the end, if you are looking for an opportunity, try to also make it easy for someone to also approach you the other way around. So include at least an email address so they know, okay, I see this person, I think is really interesting. Let me reach out to them. And then they can easily click or find your email. Maybe include it in your header so they don't need to actually connect to you yet, but they can already reach out to you by email. That's a good one to know. Also, emphasize on what are your ambitions. Like you might not exactly know what you're going to do yet, but what would you like to achieve? There's certainly you've been thinking about the future and there's something that you want to reach, you want to aspire, or maybe, explain in your introduction or background, like why choose this direction of studies. And don't say, oh, um, I didn't know what else to study, so I'm studying this. That's not what you want to put on your profile, right? You want to explain, okay, I'm studying law because I want to become a lawyer to help represent these type of people, or I want to, it doesn't have to be a Miss World contest or anything like that, but try to, boast yourself a little bit, like this is what I want to achieve in life, this is what I want to do with my studies. Describe what you would like to learn and what you would like to gain more knowledge of, because you're still learning, you're still um, trying to understand what is going on, and you still looking for that work experience. So try to describe what are you willing to learn and have more knowledge of. um, it could be something global, it could be something local, but just try to describe that on your profile. And maybe consider, whenever you're posting or whenever you're building your profile online, maybe make it bilingual. Like you have and on LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to build your online profile in several languages. So you can select in which language they can actually view your profile. Like if I were to approach somebody's profile, and it sees that it's Dutch based, it will show me the Dutch profile. And if they have an English profile set up, I can change that and view their profile in English, and then they will have their English build profile there. So that's good to know. Also, very important, networking. I'm pretty sure students come together online and offline. But also try to expand that a little bit. Try and see if there are any networking opportunities, um, be it online or offline, and meet new people and just introduce yourself like, hey, I'm a student, I'm studying this and this, and I am working on such and so, or I am um, uh, uh, very eager to learn more about such and such, or I am interested in, I don't know, circular economy, and I would like to know how that works, and etc., etc. So try to be keen on using keywords that uh, people will search for online, and include that in your profile on your online presence wherever you are, and use that in your physical and online networking. And the best way to do it is just to do it. Like, it gets really awkward in the beginning. Like for me, when when I was still a student, it was really awkward for me to do these type of presentations. But by actually doing it and doing it more frequently and learning what works, what doesn't work, you kind of learn how to, work on those skills. And the only way you can actually build your skills is to actually do it. So learn how to start a conversation, learn how to engage in conversation, listen what is being said, and then use it to your advantage. And, show that you are interested and show that you're listening, and, have that type of skill trained when you're doing your physical and online networking. And it's always easier to do that from, behind your laptop or behind your computer, and just, or even on your mobile. Go on LinkedIn and, post some messages, post articles of interest and such. So that would be my main tip on what you can do as a student. And don't be afraid, because, if you make it very clear that you're a student and such, people understand that you don't come off school with 15 years of experience, 5 years of experience. But you are, in this way, you are showing them that you're willing to learn. You're basically giving them a portal of, this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm interested in, and it will attract those employers or those companies or those people that are working for companies that are looking for someone like you, right? So, any questions about that? And I don't know if I'm going too fast, let me know. Anyone? No questions yet? Am I that clear? Really?
Yes, very clear, and the time is not fast. But I have a question for you,
Sure.
based on your presentations. When we don't
Mhm.
have any experience, which one is better? No, do we apply for internship for study first, or apply for a job directly? When we
Both can be possible.
Hmm.
I think both can be possible, especially like if you can find an internship, great, because that will give you so much information about working for a company. And it has the same approach. If you're looking for an internship, um, and you apply for internships, then it's the same principle. Like, they will look you up and they will try to see, who is this person, and can I find that person online? And if you refer to your LinkedIn profile, it invites them to come on over and have a look on, how your profile is looking. And also don't forget that even though you might not have that work experience, maybe you have a um, side projects. Maybe you have extracurricular activities that you can emphasize on. Do you have any voluntary experience? Do you help volunteer in certain areas or in local neighborhoods, or all these extra things you're doing outside of your studies? Also try to include them in your profile. It might not seem significant, but as a recruiter or as someone from corporate, if that is included on your profile or even on your CV, it tells us so much. Like if you do voluntary work, it tells an employer that um, you like to help people, that you help locally, and you know these things also matter. Things that you do outside of your studies. So you're not just studying, you're showing that you're also doing things on the side, and that you're it kind of comes off like you're also trying to do something and trying to work on skills outside of your studies. So that is also very important to note, that also include those extra activities you do on your LinkedIn profile. There's a separate area on LinkedIn where you can add these things. I did the same. Like, for example, I did voluntary work at the school of my kids, and I included that in there also. And that involved a lot of planning and organizing. Um, so that was useful to put on my profile. But I can imagine that if you're working in communications, maybe you have, I don't know, a local business you do some social media for. Could be as simple as that. Like you're working on uh, you know, helping them in creating advertisements, or these little things. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a paid job on the side or a paid activity on the side, but also voluntary work. Just show your experience already that you're trying to build and that you are looking for in the future, that might help you for a future job. So make sure to include that. Any other questions already? I'll be continuing, but I'd like to know what you think right now. Is it a big deal? What if I just update what am I doing in my profile? Like, for example, this month I get an internship in the company's A and so on. Okay, very clear. Sure. Also, of course, included in your profile, but showing activity, and it doesn't have to be like a daily post or a daily, you know, interaction, but just make it a habit that like every week, try for a couple of weeks, that just once a week you kind of share an article, you post an article with your own thoughts or maybe a open question, um, that shows that you are, you know, contributing something to the platform, and also keep referring them to your profile. Have a look on my LinkedIn profile to see what I'm working on right now or something like that. So, good question. So update what you're doing on your profile, and also try to make it a habit, like maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, whatever suits you, that you actually share something on the platform. So that keeps you in the loop. And the more you post, the more, the algorithm will show you and will make you pop up. And once you start building your network online and adding more people onto your profile, it shows them that you're active, because you can check your settings to see if whatever you update on your profile also gets other people notified. Like they get a notification whenever you update something on your profile. Check that in your settings. But apart from updating your profile, also try to maybe just a short message, or a short link or anything like that, add it and post it on the platform. That will keep you top of mind. And whenever people log in and are active on LinkedIn, they will see, hey, he or she is working on something. Great question. Good. Any other questions before I move on? You're very welcome. Um, so the next thing I wanted to touch on was, okay, what to look for if you are, going to expand your horizons and look for relevant employers. Like if you study in a certain field, in a certain industry, certain direction, like I said, certain studies open up, quite a big range of branches and industries, right? For example, if you're studying communication, that opens up a lot of doors. It doesn't necessarily have to be one specific industry, right? If you're studying law, it means you're looking for a specific industry. If you're looking for, uh, um, anything like law companies and such. So that kind of narrows it down. But even in either way, try to find out like do a little market and or employer research. So kind of find out like what are the names of employers in your future field of work or in your future field or future industry. Try to make like a kind of a short list and see, okay, let me investigate these employers. What attracts me to this employer? Sometimes you um, are attracted to a particular type of brand or a specific name in your industry. Like find out why does that make it interesting for you. um, is it what they do? Is it what they stand for? What do you think is important for in a future employer for you? And why do I emphasize on that? Because you have lots of different companies, and each of them stand for certain things. Think about values. What is mentioned on their site, or what really comes through on how they profile themselves, right? For example, is it a lot about teamwork? Is it a lot about um, trust and communication and such things like that? Usually they have a about us page, on their website that gives you a lot of information. um, but it's also important to look for what is called the cultural contribution. Now, what do I mean by that? A lot of times people discuss about cultural fit, and that is something that is kind of like an indicator. Um, uh, Cultural fit is more like a how do you say that? An indicator whether your working preference and the values of the companies, whether they match with the company that you're applying to join. So, for example, if you're really keen and passionate about the environment, uh, working for a coal mine company might not be the best match because that's a conflict of interest, right? Or if you care about a great work life balance, working for a new startup company might not exactly work out for you because usually a new startup company requires you to make a lot of hours. Everything is still new. There's not like a lot of rules and regulations, just like bigger corporate companies, right? So try to look for that match and understand that it's kind of hard to know right now what your working preference are, but I think you can find those clues in the way you like to study too. Like, are you the type of person that goes to college and you're very self-disciplined and you can go in there solo? You don't ask much questions. You kind of know, like, okay, this is the result, and I'm going to work towards that. And I'll ask if I need help. That could be your study preference, right? And it kind of also translates into your working preference. Or are you the type of person that goes into college and asks a lot of questions because you want to know this and you want to know that, and you really want that coaching and guidance from, your teachers and such? That also kind of translates into your working preference. Are you a team player? Are you kind of solo? Um, or are you someone that needs a lot of guidance? You want someone to really, um, how do you say that, challenge you, and keep you sharp and keep you on your toes, and actually get the best out of you? Or are you someone like, I know what I need to do, and I'll ask for help when I need to? That kind of translates into your working preference. So also try to see if these values and preferences can be found with your future employer, or the company that you're trying to apply for as an internship or a job or whatever. Even though for an internship, I feel like it would be not that important because the internship is temporary, right? And it's something that will give you the experience to know if that's a good fit. You kind of have to do it when it comes to an internship. Like, okay, I've landed an internship, and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to try it. And after your internship, you kind of know, like, okay, this is something that has worked for me, or this is something that has not really worked for me. And I know that this is not my preference. So I'll take that experience and then try to apply for the next one, right? So the cultural fit is not always the right terminology, because a cultural fit can be biased, um, and biased in a way that it can be used. A cultural fit can be used in the wrong way, in the sense that um, cultural fit is usually translated into kind of like a gut feeling. Um, like, for example, you have an interview, and you have all the requirements and such, and then you kind of get the message like, yeah, I'm sorry, you're not going to be the person we're going to hire because we don't really see the cultural fit. What they actually mean by such a vague terminology is that um, it's the gut feeling that they feel like you're not going to fit the team because of could be, because they don't see how you as a person might fit the company. And that's not what a cultural contribution is about, right? um, it's a Because it kind of gets misused. So think of cultural contribution. How can you make a positive contribution to the future of this organization? See how that feels different from a cultural fit. A cultural contribution is, how does this how does um, your contribution to this company align to their long-term strategy? So I really encourage you to look at their long-term strategy and vision. Like, does the company have aspirations and ambitions for the future? And how will they take their steps to go there, right? And then that's how you kind of place yourself in there, because you are the future. You're not working for the company yet, but you're really interested to work for the company or even do the internship for the company. So challenge their thinking and processes, and see what they're about on the long term, and really study their strategy. Like, if they have an ambition to reach a certain goal in like 5 to 10 years, or they have a certain vision on what the company should stand for, look into that and see how you can help them achieve that from your own skill set, not necessarily your work experience, but from your own skill set. Like, um, yeah, how does that translate? And keep in mind to be goals oriented. So, and how do the values that you hold dearly, like whether it's the good work-life balance or the environment that you care much about and such. Try to see um, how these values can contribute to their goals and how you can help them achieve their goals, right? Um, Most times, these values that companies put on their website and such, it will describe um, kind of in a few terms what their culture is like. Um, or these type of values will describe uh, what their desire is to grow that value. Like a lot of times, the values that people describe on their websites and such could be like very open doors. So it would be like trusting each other and open communication. You would think that that's a common good, right? Like you would hope that a company has trust and communication. um, but if it's really emphasized that way, you got to wonder, like, is this something that is lacking within the company that they're actually working on to get better in? Or is it something that, okay, this is like without a doubt, the core values of the company, that everybody is expected to be very open and transparent and such. So there's a fine line between knowing um, how these values will translate into corporate culture. So um, how to go about that? Like, how do you understand these values within a company, and how do you find out how that works, right? So, what questions do you ask? Ask them about their long term strategic goals. Like, normally I would ask candidates, like, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? What would you like to accomplish by then? It also works the other way around, right? Ask the company, like, what are you working on? What are you building on? Where do you see the company going 3 to 5 years from now? And this is relevant because you want to know how you will fit into the company in 3 to 5 years, right? You want to help build a company. You want to help build the future. So ask them what they're working on now to work on their long term goals. Um, and just go ahead and ask them, in their opinion, like ask for their opinion, in what way, this is a great question, by the way, in what way will their workforce change from what it is today? Like what I'm seeing within our company is that I've been working there for about 6 years now. And we already knew, like 6 years ago, that the role of our inside sales representatives would really change. And it has already been changing. Like the role of an inside sales representative has changed so much in the past, and we're seeing that is going to change in the future because of a lot of digital skills and everything else that is involved with that. So we already noticed that we need to train these people and help them adapt into these digital skills so they can become a better workforce in the future. So those are the type of programs that we were running, and it really helps them evolve into the next steps of being the future inside sales representative. So great question to ask companies to understand how you can contribute to their long-term goals, is to find out, like, what are you working on now, uh, and in what way will your workforce change from what it is today? Are there skills that you're training today that will benefit them on the long term? So that's basically what I wanted to say about what to look for when you're gonna do your research and find out what companies you want to work for. um, yeah, I'm seeing a question in the chat. So it's okay to spend a lot of time by joining many internships to know which job is fit for me. Yes, because The best way to know how you'll be happy in your future job is to actually have those experiences. You can only find out by actually doing them. So take on internships, learn from it, make sure you learn from it. And, you know, that is valuable experience to understand, okay, this works for me or it doesn't work for me. And what are your learning points from those internships? You know, go ahead. Now is your time to know, like the internships are temporary, right? It's a fixed date, ending and beginning. You kind of know what you're going to work on, and you get to like kind of, how do you say that? I like to compare it to like a food court, right? Um, you, an internship is like a food court. You kind of want to try uh, this stand, this dish, or this food, and you only know how it will taste once you actually taste it. And then you know, okay, I like this or I don't really like this. It's really that simple. And then, once you finish your food, you'll be like, well, it was good. I will rate it a certain number or whatever, and then you move on, right? And if you find another internship, you try a different food, and then you kind of find out like what are the foods you like and what are the foods you don't like as much, and then you kind of work on your preferences from there. And these are all valuable lessons that you're going to learn, and you will take that with you and also upload it on your LinkedIn profile, and then they will see that you have been working at different companies, you did different assignments, you did different internships, you did these things on the side. This will all show on your profile. So once you get to like the real deal and you get like a real job, people already know like, oh, you already did this and this, and then you can also explain from your own experience what you liked most about those internships, about those extra activities and such. So it will make you a more skilled student for them to hire, or a skilled graduate for them to hire, you know, and that will reflect really good on you. And recruiters are really smart about that. Like they can see from your activities, like what skills you're using, what skill sets you're using. So once you get to go for the real deal and you want to actually apply for a job as a young graduate, don't look so much to um, the hard requirements, um, because you have followed your studies, you have done the work, you have done the internships and everything else, or maybe you have already specialized in certain things. um, so be confident that you have those skills, those requirements that they're looking for in their profile. A lot of times these requirements are put there to help attract the right students, or there's right candidates, right graduates, and it's up to you to convince them that you have the skills also to perform the work, right? um, yeah, so that's what I wanted to share about uh, what to look for. So any questions about that?
Uh, I want to ask you,
Sure.
talking about job, talking about student and fresh graduate. How about your favorite candidate as HR?
My favorite
Mm.
candidate. um well, for what field, like what do you mean? Like I speak to a lot of candidates, and I speak to a lot of students, a lot of workers. So
I mean, the people who you think, wow, this is what I want, like that.
okay. um well, I'll be looking for the type of people that will fit, of course, Rexel, our company, what we find really important is, are you someone that is proactive? Like, if, yeah, how do I say it? We're always looking for people that go the extra mile, right? Like, of course, you come in and do your job, but what makes, we're always looking for people that will make a difference, right? You have something extra. And especially when it comes to, for example, sales, we have a lot of sales jobs. So we're kind of looking for someone that will match that energy, that will match those skills to do the sales work. So if you are a salesperson and you are into, I don't know, renewable energy, we're looking for a sales consultant in renewable energy. I would like to see that on your profile, right? Are you passionate about it? Do you share things about it? There's a certain level of passion that you're looking for the type of job you're doing, and how do you apply your skills to the things you're doing, and how does that show? And the best way to to show them is to actually share them on your online presence. So that's really what we're looking for. So it's kind of hard to explain what the ideal candidate would be, because you always have this reference, like, okay, a candidate for sales would be someone like this, a candidate for an internship for, I don't know, my own department would be something like this. So do you have like a nice portfolio? um, do you like to work with people? How does that show? Yeah, so I don't only look for the, you know, hard requirements, like, if you say you study something in the field or in the direction that we're looking for, I believe you. So I will try to engage in conversation with you to find out, who you are, what drives you, uh, what gives you the energy to do what you want to do, right? Because there could be um, activities. Just think of activities that really make you passionate about something, that you could really give your full attention, and it actually gives you energy, even though you've been working on it the whole day. It gives you energy at the end of the day. That's the type of people we're looking for. So coming to an interview and be looking like, yeah, so I kind of did this and that, and I don't know, you kind of have to know your way to boast yourself, and explain how, yeah, this is what I did, and I really enjoyed this and this part. So it's also about presenting yourself, right? And try to find the authentic way to do that, because if you're trying too hard and it's not really authentic, people will know. And eventually, once you start working there, they will know that, okay, the person we met at the interview is not exactly the person that they're going to be, that you're showing us right now during the internship or during the work. So, try to not humble yourself, but really explain to them that, okay, this is what I do, this is what I want to do, and see if that matches with the company and the vibes of the company. Sometimes there are companies that you feel like, oh, I really want to work for this company, and then you land an interview or anything like that, and the conversation just was not flowing or anything like that. That's a big red flag, right? Do you really want to work for such a company? It needs to feel right. You have to have that connection with the company. It might not be the person at that time, but a lot of times the person that is doing the interview for the company will give a good representation of what the company is about. So be sure to ask the right questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Yeah. Okay, so should we move on how to approach these companies? Who would
Sure,
like to know that?
sure.
All right. So, how to approach the companies? You've done your research, you've built your online profile. Um, you feel like you're ready, you can like make a difference, and you know what to say. Try to, kind of summarize for yourself, okay, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, this is what I'm looking for, and this is what I'm looking for in a company. That's important to have, so you always know, like, you're always ready for an opportunity, and you always have something ready to say. So, how to approach the companies. Look for relevant employers. No, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Look for the job alerts, right? Really easy to set up. You might have sites where you can set up job alerts because you kind of already know which employers you're looking for. So go into their jobs and see how they describe their jobs. Study the description. Um, so, for example, start by searching the future jobs of your interest, right? So you go into looking for jobs, and you'll be like, okay, I want to be, I don't know, some like any roles in communication. So you kind of search into that, and you click through to study the descriptions. And like I said, don't worry about much about the requirements. Like they ask you to have this background and this much experience and blah blah blah. Read in between the lines. What skills do they want you to have? Like, how do they describe their job? What does it look like? Does that really give you an idea of what you're going to be doing? Because sometimes a lot of job descriptions are like just summaries, and summaries of a lot of sorry, a lot of big words, right? And you still don't know what you're going to do. So really be critical about the job descriptions. There are a lot of great job descriptions out there, but some of them are just like, it gives you more questions than answers, right? You'll be reading the job description and reading it again, and you'll be like, still don't understand what I'm going to do. What does my day look like, actually look like? What am I going to do? Like, I come in the morning, what do I do? Um, so try and see, going through all these job vacancies, job descriptions, try and see what really stands out and what are you looking for, and just have a job alert on, and have these delivered to your inbox directly, and just kind of go through it and see, okay, I think I like this part. I don't really like that one. So you kind of like, critically assess the job descriptions or the internship descriptions. Most of the times here, the way internships work is, usually it evolves around a solution or problem question and such. So that's very, very straightforward. So it's pretty much the same for most internships, or just working on skill sets. So for us over here, it's quite easy when it comes to internships. So we kind of already know the references within which internship is being built around. Um, and then just go ahead and send open applications. Just start doing it, and you'll see you'll get better at it later, right? Um, because the only way to get better at something is by doing them. So send your open applications, learn from it. Like, get ready for disappointment sometimes. But learning from these rejections is the best way to move forward, right? There's so many companies out there, a lot of opportunities, and sometimes something is meant to be, something is not meant to be. But do not get discouraged by rejection. Um, Rejection is part of it. You don't always get what you ask for, so you um, don't feel like that should hold you back, right? Just go ahead and do it. Send those open applications, and make it a thoughtful open applications. So understand the research you did and translate that into your open application. If you did your research very well, you understand the company that you're applying for. So use that in your open application. And once you do get a rejection, that's fine. Ask for feedback. Don't settle for like, oh, sorry, yeah, we have hired someone else. Ask them for feedback. Don't settle for all these weird or vague explanations of rejection. Just ask to clarify. Okay, could you explain, you know, why I got rejected so I can learn from it for my next application. And whether or not you'll, I don't know if every company will give you that explanation, but when they don't, it kind of already shows you what the company is about, right? If they don't take the time to clarify why you got rejected, then you kind of already know what the company is about, right? So what I'm referring to is actually the employee experience. When an employee experience is good at a company, save them in your favorites. Make sure you bookmark them. You make sure you go back to that company maybe next time, maybe in a couple of months' time, maybe next year. But you'll know that the companies that actually gave you feedback about your rejection or about your application, or it didn't work out for that time, or they don't have any open opportunities for you at the moment, but they took the time and effort to reply to you in detail, in the sense, in a way that will help you for your next application. Make sure you save them, because they will remember you next time, hopefully. And if not, you can always refer to it, right? So don't get discouraged. Send the open applications. Make sure you do your research. you know it's okay. Like, you will get rejections or you will not get rejections. It's fine, but you have to learn from it. You have to get better at it. So you have to start doing it. And by doing it, you'll know, by asking this feedback, what you can do better next time. Or maybe you get feedback on, maybe you could enhance something like this, or there's always useful feedback that you can get from there. Usually job vacancies or intern vacancies hold information about who posted it or who to contact. Sometimes it's not very clear. So if it's not clear who you should contact about the job, reach out to the company, give them a call, or email them to find out, hey, I saw this job vacancy, or I saw this internship, but I don't know who to address the application to, if there's not a name in there, right? So just reach out, give a call, or maybe a quick email to find out who to address it to. So it makes it, one, way more personal, and two, you already have contact with the company, and from that interaction, how the company comes across, right? Does it meet your expectations? Do they live up to what they say? Yeah. So, and it gives you um, a contact moment, a touch moment with the company, and you can ask questions. So those are my tips and tricks to approach these companies. Yeah, they're very practical. I know I'm a very practical person, and I know I haven't shown a PowerPoint presentation because, yeah, I could, but I like to talk from experience. So, any questions about that? Like, don't get discouraged. Just go and do it. What's holding you back? Any questions? Let me know. Go ahead. Don't be shy. Now's your time.
Uh, can I?
Rejection makes it stronger. Very good. Yes.
May I?
It makes you stronger.
May I ask to you? May I ask you?
Yes.
I mean, I know there are many company in this world, but in Indonesia there are big issue. If
Mm,
you don't have any privilege, you will be
mhm.
hard to get a job. What is your opinion about this privilege? issue?
Privilege. Okay. And can you describe privilege to me? Like you should know someone inside the company before you can
Nah,
apply?
yeah.
Aha.
Mm,
Okay. Now that's why it's so important to network. You meet people and those people know people, and it's the same online. Once you start adding people to your online profile, to your online network, like on LinkedIn, it will indirectly give you access to these companies in a different privileged way. A lot of times you will see that the people you keep adding to your profile or keep adding to your network sometimes will give you a second to third degree contact within the company that you would like to work for. So, if your online and offline networking skills are being trained and you're consistent about it, um, it will make it easier to reach out to the people that are in your network to say, "Hey, I see you know this person at this company. I'm looking for an internship or I'm looking for a job. Could you introduce me to that person?" And then that's your way in. That's why online and offline networking is such a powerful tool. And to back that up with a really good online profile to show that this is who you are, this is what you stand for, and this is what you're working on, and this is what you're trying to learn, then it's so easy to get your access and get your own privilege at the company of your choice. Yeah, I understand. Sometimes, uh, it's all about who you know, right? And that's what makes it a privilege. But that's why you are in control of, um, who you're interacting with, who you add to your network, and how to stand out. So people will want to add you to their network. So it's a two-way street. So make sure that you get in contact with the right people and you also stand out and have an online presence in a way that people will want to add you, like, oh, this is a very eager student, um, or she's very active, or I've seen this discussion that she's part of. I'm really interested in knowing more about her opinion or his opinion. Let me send an email or let me add his or her profile to my network and then start the conversation from there. So really try to look for the interaction online and connect it to offline contacts, and that's how you create your privilege and your way in with companies. So I hope that makes sense. So you don't
yes.
have to be passive about it. Proactive, proactive. Yep. Any other questions? Let me know.
Siti
Siti,
Humairah.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity for ask a question. But before that, I would like to say glad to know you, Misari, and thank you so much for your time to sharing with us. Because we know that too early morning for an online discussion in your area today. Then thank you so much for your willingness. Okay,
Oh,
so
sure.
Miss Sari, I would like to ask about how exactly the work environment in global market, especially in Excel, because we know that in the global market there are so much cultures. May you sharing with us about that? Thank you so much.
Okay, there are many different cultures. So what is your question exactly?
Yeah. How the work environment in global market, especially in Excel, how the condition?
Oh, Rexel, within my company.
Yep.
Ah, okay. The work environment is actually the way Rexel operates, even though it's a global company, each country that has Rexel is its own entity. So even though we all report back eventually to Paris, our global headquarters, we all have our own autonomous countries, right? So within Rexel Netherlands, we do business within the Netherlands, right? So we do get our suppliers, local suppliers, and we do get our materials from all over the world. But um, we have clients, customers within the Netherlands, and we service them within the Netherlands and have local suppliers, right? Um, so the working environment, really, like I said, there are three groups of workers. They will have three groups in our workforce, which is one part of it is the distribution warehouse. Obviously, during COVID, we kept working within the distribution warehouse because we can't tell people on the floor to go and work from home. So the goods were still being delivered, were still, being labeled and such. So people were working there, and the working conditions, we made sure very early on that it would be a safe environment, which is really the emphasis during COVID. Um, for everyone to be free and have these safe working environments. Um, so, and then there's the other part, which is the main office, which holds the supporting staff. So HR, finance, IT, facility, all these different finance, for example. So most of us can work from home. And we also provided that. Not everybody already did work from home, but once it was time to work from home, we did provide everyone with the tools necessary. So um, that's one part of the company, and then the last part is the sales. So the sales is we work from 21 different locations within the Netherlands, and sales is built up as, you have a branch manager, we have account managers, and we have the team lead and the inside sales representatives. So each have their own region within the Netherlands. So what I can share about the working environment is we're a very open company, open communication. Um, Even though there's hierarchy, so we have, these management levels, everyone is approachable. What we get from a lot of people that come from the outside in, like external visitors, they say it feels like a family company, even though it's a global and quite a big company, right? So that kind of describes it in a nutshell. Everybody is willing to help you. So we try, to make everybody feel welcome. We make sure everything is in place. Once you start working there, we kind of make sure that everything is in place. You have all the tools you need to work. You have the right people around you. So it could never happen that somebody enters their first day and somebody will look at you like, who are you? What are you coming to do? There's great communication internally, so we know who's new. We know who, all these changes in personnel. We share it on within our internal communications, and everybody is approachable. So you might have a lot of contact with colleagues that are not necessarily on your branch or not directly, face to face. But we have a lot of phone contact and Teams contact with different departments. So it's really accessible. Everybody is accessible. And what's really great is that it gets a lot of support from management team too, right? So your management team also reflects on your working environment and on your working culture. Um, for example, we have this whole onboarding program, introduction program. Um, so we bring like a group of all these new people that started with the company, we bring them together. We do our presentation, we let them see where our supporting staff is working. Um, Before COVID, we could also like take them to the distribution warehouse because we're all the same team, right? Even though you might be working in sales, you might be working at the warehouse, I'll be working from a different department. we are all connected, when we're all doing the same thing for our customer. So for us, it's really important to understand that you're part of a bigger team, even though you might work from a small team. So that's something that, you know, shines through in our onboarding. And a lot of times we also make sure that they meet our CEO early on in that onboarding program. So they kind of break the ice there and kind of meet the CEO. And the CEO is really eager to meet new people. So that makes it really easy, because a lot of times you're like, "Ooh, the CEO wants to shake our hands and everything." Oh, you know, you get all excited. So we kind of make sure that's part of our onboarding program, so they know who he is and they kind of already met him. And then during our onboarding program, like 2 months later, we kind of invite everyone back, and then we kind of ask them like, okay, you've been working for the company a couple of months now. Uh, Show us, like, usually we ask the question, what would you do if you were director for one day, if you were the CEO for one day, and then they can give a presentation about that. And that's really refreshing, and that's a great way of asking feedback from our workers. And they present it to our CEO actually, and the CEO will, you know, engage in you know, in conversation with you and actually give you feedback right then and there back. So it's a 360 feedback degree. So we're really open in our culture. Everybody, you know, you can ask anybody everything. They're very willing to help. So that's really part of our culture. Yeah, that's our, we've been building, and we're really proud of the way, the level of trust we have, you know, with between workers, managers, and everything in between. So we're really proud about that. Thank you for asking. Great question.
Talking about asking, let's begin to Q&A session. There are Q&A session, and for the participants who uh, want to ask Sari Mengveld, is that correct? My pronunciation, Sari
Yes,
Mengveld.
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can asking here on the
Mhm,
comment on the chat Zoom. But before that, talking about team,
mhm.
is the type of person who likes teamwork uh, better than individual person?
Depends. I think it is really beneficial, but you can still be an independent, you know, worker and still be part of a team, if that makes sense. Because especially when you're early on in your working career, um, you know, it's always helpful to have these team skills and make sure that your team is also diverse, right? Because if you have all of the same people in one team, it's not really a team. It's just a bunch of individuals together. So it's always good to look for diversity. Like, if I'm speaking from my experience, my HR team, we have about 8 colleagues. So I have 3 HR advisors, each for their own entity, right? One HR advisor really works for sales, the other HR advisor for the warehouse, and the other HR advisor for the supporting staff. And all 3 of them are very are have common things because of the role they're performing, but they're different people. Like, the warehouse requires a different skill set than someone that works for sales. So that's really nice to see within the team. Then we have a payroll administrator who's very about, you know, structures, and everything needs to be protocol and such. But at the same time, he's a great presenter. He is a great storyteller. And, you know, when it comes to something, maybe a boring topic about pension schemes, you know, something that young graduates might not realize, but saving for your pension is actually a good thing. But you know, something that is a boring topic like that, he can actually present it in a really nice way. So That's another skill set, right? Then we have the HR coordinator for the administration. um, she knows everything that you can think of because she has so many years of service. She knows like how to connect the dots. Like, for example, somebody wants to change something in their contract, and we ask her to get the paperwork done, and she'll be the one thinking, oh yeah, but we need to think of this, and did we ask this, and did we remember this, and do you know that this was going on? So she's always the one connecting the dots. So very, also very from structure and knowledge. um what else do we have? We have our HR director. I'm really fond of her. She is a very creative person also, and is very compassionate and wants to know what's going on with the team, has regular one-to-one meetings with each and every one of us, make sure that we have our team together every now and then. Actually, since COVID, we make sure that we have like a team call twice a week to understand what is everybody working on. Do you need any help from each other? How can we help? So that's really, looking for, the connection and the team building. And then we have our part-time administration and the secretary to the HR director. She also knows everything. She's the person you go to if you want something to be done. Like, okay, we need location, we need this, or we need lunch, or we need communication about this, or we need a message about that. So it all ties in together, right? And that makes it so much fun to work for a team. And I can still do my own thing, right? I'm the only one doing like the learning and development part, but I am still part of the team. And what makes a team is how do you build together from your own expertise towards the goals that you're reaching for. So great question, but at the
Yeah.
same time,
Mm.
there's so much context.
Yeah.
So it's okay if you want to work from your specific expertise
Mm.
in your own way. But being a team player will benefit you a
Mm.
lot because you're going to have to deal with, somebody to report to. You have to deal with other colleagues that maybe you're working on for a project or
Mm.
from day to day. So having those team working skills, really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there is no Superman in this world, but it's good
No.
if there is a super team.
Yes, exactly. And you have to do it together. Like if you
Mm.
want to be a one-man company, okay, great. If that works for you. But once you're going for internships and applications and such, make sure that you keep that in mind. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Any other questions? Don't be shy. Pusat, you're looking into the camera like, I want to say something, but maybe not. Oh, really nice. No one? Well, I hope I was very clear. And if you have any more questions, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I believe you all have the link to my LinkedIn profile. Send me a message. I'll reply. No questions are, too crazy or anything like that. You're very welcome to enter any questions, or maybe some clarifications, maybe some tips. Yeah, sure. Make sure you make your question, send your question now. Otherwise,
Let's rock, sorry.
come
It's my
on.
David.
I'm awake, so come on. I woke up for you guys. You're early, early in the morning. No, it's okay.
Sorry,
If
I don't
there
know
aren't any
if you
questions,
already talk about the skills needed for for people who are going to, let's say, enter to the global market.
Mm-hmm.
Have you told the my kids here? Have they known already?
Your kids. Ah, that's so cute. Um, well, the skills to, yeah, it really depends on, your field of studies actually. But the soft skills you should work on, um, yeah, make sure you are inquisitive. So make sure you know how to, engage in conversation, listening to what is being said, and also, you know, feedback skills are always very, very helpful. Giving and receiving feedback, engaging in conversation, networking skills. You learn so much by networking. Um, that will help you in engaging in conversation and keeping a conversation going, in knowing what to say, what to write, and such. So these are very helpful skills for you. Yeah. So verbal and written skills are still very important. So make sure that if you have the ambition to enter the global market, that your English is on point. It's still the main language. Make sure you keep training that. And, maybe find someone that wants to help you, wants to coach you, or have regular conversations with, so you can actually train yourself to, you know, speak and write in English. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
100% agree. That's why we have this session. We kind of
Hmm.
making this as a regular event. So we invite
Yeah.
around the world
And
to
it's in
talk.
English and not bahasa
And it's in
Indonesia.
English. Yeah, and you may say some words in Dutch. So,
Aduh, pusing.
aduh,
Aduh.
pusing sekali ya.
Aduh, pusing sekali. Baru bangun. Aduh,
Baru
nggak bisa.
lupa bahasa Belanda ya.
Lupa. Semua kosong ini.
Can you speak bahasa? Can you speak bahasa?
See, there's a prize.
Mengapa dari tadi kita tidak menggunakan bahasa Indonesia saja?
No, you have to use English with Sari. Sari, stop talking bahasa, okay?
Okay.
Because he was so nervous, like, my English isn't that good. Your English is great. Keep working on it. I
Thank you.
have this crazy accent, so most of the time when I'm in Indonesia, people will think, "Are you from America?" I'm like, "No, I'm from the Netherlands, thank you." And then, it's the best way to surprise people, especially when you're in Bali. You're trying to look for things. So, hello, miss, what are you looking for? And blah, blah, blah. And you can always like negotiate the price, like, berapa harganya? Mahal dong. Yeah, so surprise.
Thank you
It's in
very
the
much.
name. Ari.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
you can do belly dance, yeah, Sari.
mm, I think this presentation will be enough, and
Yes.
I will close today's presentation. That was the last question for this session. Thank you very much, Sari, for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. Terima kasih. Hatur
Biasa aja
nuwun.
kali. Terima
Kali.
kasih.
Terima kasih. Kembali.
So, before we close these presentations, let's take a picture first together.
Oh dear.
Please to on your camera,
Okay.
please. To all participants, please turn on the camera.
Yes.
Fafa,
Not
apakah
everybody
Fafa?
turned the camera off. Everybody's adjusting their hair and everything. Like, oh,
Please,
yeah.
please take a good picture. I will send to her mom.
Please.
Apakah Fafa sudah siap? Okay.
Let me count. One, two, three. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vafa, for that photo.
Nice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of seminar. Before I close the seminar, please to Sari Manfeld to give the close statement, please.
A closing statement.
Yeah.
I would like to encourage everyone to just start doing. Don't be
Mm.
afraid. Don't hold back, Stop doubting yourself and just start doing it and learn from whatever you're doing, whatever feedback you're getting, because each feedback will, you know, give you things to learn. So stop doubting yourself and just start doing it.
Okay, so I'm Sufi as moderator today. I want to close this presentations by saying Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Don't forget to
Thank you, Sari.
thank you, Sari. And for all participants, don't
Thank
forget to
you.
uh, uh, attend in the chat room.
Thank you so much.
Sari, thank you.
Sari, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
See you soon.
And thank you
Miss
for
you
connect
too.
with me on LinkedIn. So if
Yes.
you all want
Yeah.
to connect
And
with
please
Sari,
do share this moment through your LinkedIn, yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Sari.
Okay.
Terima kasih.
Thank you so much. Makasih ya.
Kamu
Bedang.
cantik sekali.
Aduh.